All right, what is going on, guys? Happy Sunday. We've got a full 15 game slate. Let's start with yesterday's recap. Really good day. We went basically 3 for 3 on the straight bets. We had a push with the Dodgers, so no blood there. We just pushed there. So 3 for 3 rules, run line hit pretty easily. Mets first five. Game ended up being 1-0, but luckily that first run came before the fifth inning, or before the sixth, I should say. So we hit that, and then Seattle Houston raced to five. Neither team. Final score was 4-2, so we ended up cashing that. In terms of our parlays, we had Kansas City and the Mets -1. Obviously, Kansas City got the job done, and the Mets pushed. So, like I said yesterday, full unit on that, so it ended up being point 0.8. And then the Giants sold us. That kind of sucks. So that was a little different than what I thought. If we looked at yesterday and how I had everybody ranked out, I had Blake Snell was the projected pitcher, not Logan Webb. And if we go back 2 days ago when Logan Webb was facing the Rockies or was supposed to, I had actually picked the Rockies to win that game. So definitely would have faded Logan Webb. Like I said, Logan Webb's good at home. We fade him away. So Giants would have been, I probably would have gone Rockies there. So unfortunate. Yankees did not get the job done. That was just a brutal beatdown. Shouldn't have bet against Taj Bradley. That was just a bad read on my part. I even said, it was a bit contrarian because everything kind of pointed towards the Rays. So that one is what it is. Phillies, man, bullpen is just blowing games. I don't know what's going on with that bullpen, but rough start coming out of the break here for that bullpen. So kind of back-to-back games they should have won, but they didn't. And then the Angels at -175. So this one got flopped. Tyler Anderson didn't pitch, and they went with the rookie that gave up a ton of runs against the Mariners. So I actually went very hard on Oakland once I found out they had switched to that pitcher, and that paid off pretty well. So Oakland would have been, I would have 100% picked Oakland, and they would have been pretty high because that pitcher's absolute garbage. And then the Twins game, that was a really good game. Ended up going into, I believe, the 11th or 12th inning, and then the Brewers just like popped off for like 4 or 5 runs or some shit. So ended up losing that, but we had that one ranked pretty low there. But overall, 10-5. Like I said, 2 games there where we tried to pick the pitcher the night before and ended up being different. I actually feel like we probably would have went 12-3 to be honest, because I would have 100% been on Oakland. And Giant, like I said, probably would have gone Rockies, but it is what it is. Still a really good day. Another 3+ unit day. So let's get into Sunday. Just a reminder, man, Sundays can be a little bit wild, so be careful. First game, we got Brewers and Twins. We got Joe Ryan going up against Aaron Savali. Not a huge Savali fan. I know he's pitched okay, but if we look at Savali, he did face the Twins on June 18th. Went 3.2 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 5K. So not a great outing. I like the Twins to get the job done. I like Joe Ryan at home. I think this is a good get back spot. -162 is it's a little heavy. I'll be honest. Feel like this is probably closer to like a -140 line, so little high, but yeah, I think Twins get the job done today. Splits look good. Everything just kind of favors them today. All right, Pirates Phillies. Tyler Phillips, rookie, pitching for the Phillies. That's a tough one. Going up against Marco Gonzalez. I mean, this guy Gonzalez doesn't throw hard. He is a kind of a junk ball type pitcher, but we've seen Philly struggle against left-handed pitching. So little concerned here. I would lean Pirates. This is probably not a game I'm going to touch. I looked at a lot of different angles to get to Philly or get to Pittsburgh. It's just kind of a weird Sunday game, so I don't love it. I think the over is pretty appropriate where it's at, but I would lean Pirates on this one, especially with the bullpen issues we've seen from the Phillies. All right, next game, Reds Nats. We were on the Nats last night. They ended up coming back to win. It didn't look good. Mackenzie Gore, I think he threw somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, 45 pitches in the first inning. So I was actually driving back home listening to this game on the radio. Um, Nats ended up coming back though, so really interesting matchup today. Andrew Abbott going up against Jake Irvin. Irvin got roughed up pretty bad his last game. Abbott has looked pretty good, so I like the under in this game. I like the Reds to win this one. I've been on the Nats the first 2 games, but I like the Reds today. and I really like the Nerfy. The Nerfy is going to be on one of my plays. It's plus 100 right now. We've seen some decent offense, but I like these two pitchers to get through the first inning. And actually, the Reds pitchers, I think yesterday snapped like a 5 or 6 game Nerfy streak from the Reds pitching staff. So really like it here. The numbers support it. You know, the Reds are 14th in the league in first inning runs, and the Nats are dead last. So we've got a really good opportunity here. Wind's not going to be blown out too bad, so I like them get the job done here, and then Reds full game. All right, Yankees Rays. Again, yesterday Yankees got stomped. First game we saw them put a beat down on the Rays. So I think we see this reverse split today. If we look at Shane Baz when he pitched against the Yankees just a couple of weeks ago in Tampa, it didn't go too well for him. 4.1 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, 5 Ks. Stroman got a little lucky. He gave up 7 hits, but only 1 earned run. So there was definitely some luck in there. I like the Yankees to get the job done today. Again, minus 162, a little juiced. I don't really trust them at the -1. You could look at the over 8.5. I could see a lot of runs being scored in this game, potentially, especially with the wind blowing out a little bit. And then you could look at the Shane Baz K prop. I believe it's 4.5, and I think it's minus 125 or maybe even plus money to go under. I think that could be an option today as well in terms of a prop, but we will have props today. All right, next game, Braves Cardinals. Miles Mikolas going up against Spencer Schwellenbach. Mikolas doesn't have a great track record versus the Braves. He given up a 341 average, so 29 of 85 off of him, and they've hit 8 home runs. So I really like the Braves in this spot, especially at minus 142. We're getting really good value to fade Miles Mikolas, which I love to do. I think we're in a good spot here, and I've actually really liked the way Schwellenbach has pitched. I think we should see them. Hopefully they can hit. As long as they can hit, they should cruise to a win here. So I really like this spot here. We'll have an interesting play in that one as well for our official bet. All right, Tigers Blue Jays. We've been on the Tigers' first 2 games. They've came through for us. Today we've got Kevin Gausman going up against Keter Montero. I think Gausman is pitching fairly well, and he has a good track record against Detroit, right? So lifetime, they're 215 off of him, 17 of 79. So he's got a good track record against these folks in the lineup. If we look at his stats, it can be a little misleading, right? He's got a 7.19 home ERA, but he hasn't had a home start since 6:30, and he's been pitching pretty decent since then. Those home starts were against some really tough teams, right? It was against the Yankees, the Indians, the Orioles, right? All kind of the Yankees were in the beginning-ish of that hitting slump, but the Indians and the Orioles, that was when they were raking. So it's a little skewed because he did have 3 bad games against those teams, but everything else he's been pitching quite well. So I like the Tigers or Blue Jays to get the job done today. All right, Padres Guardians. This is a tough game to handicap. This is actually a really tough game. It's 2 offenses that are kind of yo-yoing right now. They're kind of all over the place. Michael King going up against Ben Lively. I like King. I'm a big King fan. My only concern is if we look at lefties, he is struggling against lefties, and the Indians are the heaviest left-handed lineup in baseball. So, given almost a 300 average up to lefties, I think it's hard to not back Cleveland, given that stat right there. I think he will struggle a little bit with his fastballs to lefties. I can see some potential home runs hitting out today, although we do have the wind blowing in. Lively scares me a little bit. He's not the greatest pitcher in the league, that's for sure, but he's been very, very serviceable lately. So I would lean Cleveland here, especially after yesterday, bounce back, get the win. So again, kind of that yo-yo effect, right? It was Cleveland that won the first. They kind of beat the Padres down. Padres return the favor. I think we see probably more of a more well-rounded game, but I could see this being something like a 4-3, 5-4 type of game. I think that over is pretty nicely placed. I would lean towards the over. Definitely a spot where you could get hooked on that 8, but I do like it at 8 as opposed to 8.5. All right, next game, Mets and Marlins. We've got Christian Scott going up against Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers just kind of gets the shit into the stick. Kind of gets hated on a lot, but if you go into his metrics, they're actually pretty damn good. He is 0-5 at home with a 5.06 ERA. Couple of good teams that roughed him up. But he hasn't had a home start, a lot of home starts in a bit. But if we look over his last 7 starts, 2 earned runs or less in 6 of the last 7. So he has pitched pretty decent against some quality teams. So I think that's kind of what his knock is he does get a lot of quality teams he's going up against. Love the Nerfy in the spot, minus 115, which is fantastic value for this spot. I like the Mets to get the job done here. They have been hitting lefties quite well pre-break, so got to back them here. And I like what Christian Scott's doing. He's been pretty serviceable since he replaced Tyler McGill. So I really like the Mets in this spot. His pitch splits look great. We do see the potential for Trevor Rogers to struggle with the fastball. Mets are the best fastball hitting team off of lefties over the last 30 days. So could see some issues there with Christian Scott. The lefties concern me a little bit. 306 average against lefties. So we'll have to see there. But you got to trust the Mets in this situation and hope they can actually score more than 1 run. All right, Royals, White Sox. I mean, going right back to that same well I've gone to the first 2 games, Royals run line. Seth Lugo on the mound going up against Drew Thorpe. Huge pitching disparity there. That said, Drew Thorpe has been really good. He's got a 161 opponent average, hard hit percentage very low at 32.3%, one of the better in the league. And his exit velo is low at 85. So this kid's not giving up a lot of hard hit balls. Lugo, he can give up some hard hit balls, but he's been outstanding this year. 11-4 record, 2.48 ERA. His FIP is 81, xFIP is 90. So tells us he's gotten a little lucky, but we can say the same thing for Drew Thorpe. 117 FIP, expected 132. So gotta back the Royals here again at home. Just too hot of a team. 33-18 at home. For some reason, the bats just kind of come to life a little bit when they are at home there. So no reason to back the White Sox here. I can't find an angle to back them. So I like the money line, obviously really heavy juiced at 218, but you get the run line for minus 105, which is pretty sweet. All right, Cubs and Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks won 3-0 yesterday, so good game there. We were on the D-back, so appreciate them getting that win yesterday. Today we got Brandon Pfaadt going up against Shota Imanaga. Imanaga's been really good his last couple of starts. Hasn't faced the Diamondbacks, so it's going to be the first time. My only concern here is pre-All-Star break, the Diamondbacks were raking lefties. They were hitting the shit out of lefties, and they just got to Justin Steele. So they hit Justin Steele all around the park. Makes me a little nervous. We do have the wind blowing in. Shota is a very heavy fly ball pitcher, so this wind was blowing out. I might go with the inverse here and back the D-backs, just given what they did against Steele. I'm a little concerned about the Cubs offense, obviously. But if we look, they've been hitting right-handed pitching pretty well pre-break. So I'm going to back them here. Again, I don't know if I'll even bet this game. Like I love the Nerfy. The Nerfy is 100% in. I think it's a wonderful spot, especially at minus 135. It's, a little juice, but not too crazy given Shota's on the mound. I like the first 5 under. I think it's like 4.5 at minus like 140. So that's a pretty safe pair. But if I had to pick a team, Cubs money line, but I'm not going to have a money line play in this game. All right, Rangers Orioles. We got Dean Kramer going up against Andrew Heaney. Pretty crazy line. I actually expected, and this line's actually changed, and the Orioles are minus 108 right now. Texas Rangers are minus 112. So that just changed right before I jumped on. So I think that's due to Dean Kramer's last start. He got touched up for a bunch of home runs, but that was at home where he does have issues with giving up home runs. Away, he has been pretty good all year. So Andrew Heaney, not the greatest track record against the Orioles, right? 23 for 87. They've hit 7 home runs off of him. So got to lean towards the Orioles here to get the job done. We've just seen the bats resurge. They're getting the clutch hits, and the Rangers' offense has been a little bit sputtered. So I don't see a reason not to take the Orioles here today. All right, next game, Giants-Rockies. Like I said yesterday, we had Logan Webb instead of Blake Snell, which sucks. Today we got Hayden Burnsong going up against Austin Gomber. Gomber's one of those weird pitchers that actually has a better ERA at home than he does away, which is kind of strange. That said, I just can't see the Giants getting swept in this situation. I like Hayden Birdsong. I think he is quite a good pitcher. He's got a 3.72 ERA, xERA of 5.15. So at some point we're going to see some regression. Um, but I like him to get the job done today against Gomer. There's just there's a disparity. I mean, huge disparity between these two teams. And I like the Giants to step it up today and get the job done. I'm not sure what the nerfy is in this game, but you could look at it. It'd probably be a bit ballsy, but we do have the wind blowing in. Over at 10.5, I would lean towards the under. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of offense out of the Rockies, especially at home. They just haven't been scoring a ton. All right, Athletics, Angels. We've got Carson Palmer going up against Joey Estes. I mean, the Athletics have been one of the hottest hitting teams in baseball over the last 2 weeks. I don't know how, but they have. You could look at the Nerfy for this game. Both teams are, top 10 in Nerfies. So Nerfy in this game is minus 115, I believe. So that's a possibility there. If I had to pick a winner, I would go A's. Kind of hard not to pick the A's right now with the way they've been hitting the ball. One line I did like is Angels team total over 3.5 is not too bad. I think it's like minus 125. So that could be an option. I do think they get to Estes. This guy's he's not fantastic. He's got a 5.29 ERA. But that just kind of tells me if you're going to give me 4.5 or 3.5 at minus 125 for a full game total, it's quite good. But it also tells me they're expecting the Athletics to score some runs, right? All right. Next to last game here, we got Astros Mariners. We've been on the Astros first two games. They've came through for us. Doesn't really change for me today. I mean, great pitching matchup between Ronel Blanco and Brian Wu. Wu is just a straight fastball guy, pretty much. Yeah, I don't see. I like the Astros first five. You can get that at plus money. It's plus 100. So Astros first five is going to be one of our official plays. Wu has struggled against lefties, 458 average, righties 304. So he hasn't been overly dominant. And if we look at his FIP, it's 80. Expected FIP is 103. So there's it's an interesting guy. This Wu guy. I feel like he should get touched up a lot more than he does. We'll have to see, but it's kind of hard not to back the Astros when we just have seen zero offense from the Mariners. I can't trust their team offensively. All right, last game on the card, we got Red Sox Dodgers. Cutter Crawford going up against James Paxton. Maybe I'm just I'm not on the Paxton train. It's really hard for me to trust or back James Paxton. And frankly, the Red Sox should have won the first two games of this series. The bullpen has blown back-to-back games. So I like the Red Sox here. I think they get the job done today behind Cutter Crawford. I would assume they get to Paxton. It just feels like a Red Sox day. I don't know why, but if we look at the splits, they have been hitting lefties well. So I think that's the angle here. Man, I feel like they're going to touch him up today. Could be wrong, but this is not a game I have ranked super high and probably not going to touch it from the only perspective I like is first five. That's the only thing I like. So I don't trust their bullpen right now for a full game. All right, let's talk about our straight bets today. First bet I got, we're going to trust Andrew Abbott and Jake Irvin to get the job done in the first inning. So we're going Nerfy plus 100 there. Going back to the well with the Royals run line at minus 112. So we still got good value there. I like Braves to get the first run. So we need them to get the first run off Mikolas, and that is plus money. So plus 100 to fade Miles Mikolas, absolutely. Give me Red Sox first five at minus 105. So on these first fives, we've got three of them here. If they are tied after 5 innings, it's just a push. So we're not doing the minus half a run. We're just doing straight first five. So give me Red Sox first five, Orioles first five, Houston first five. So I think those are three really good first five values. If we can hit, if we can hit 2 out of 3 there, that'd be awesome. Hopefully we hit all 3 though. In terms of parlays, I like the Diamondbacks and the Cubs to get a Nerfy, as well as the Mariners and Houston. So if we combine those two together, it's plus 207. I like Kansas City and Atlanta both to win -1, right? So if one of them just wins and it's only by 1, we just push that part, same as we did yesterday. So plus 204 there. And then I like the Twins, the Mets, and the Braves. Pair those up plus 365. And then our fun parlay, just going to go with a 4 because it's Sunday. We're just going to do kind of the 3 we had on top, and then we're going to add Baltimore. So pair those 4, it's plus 774. In terms of odds and teams over here, like I said, on this, it's Sunday, man. It's so wild. Like games I feel decently about, frankly, is you could go here, but honestly, the first 5 are probably the ones I feel the best about, and then it's like Sunday kicks in. So you have no idea. I'm sure this is going to be a wild one today. Prop leans, I like Marcus Stroman under 4.5 Ks. I actually thought this line was going to be 3.5. So I like that under at -135. Trevor Rogers for the Marlins under 5.5 hits. I know we're picking the Mets, but like I said, he's still been pretty decent. Joe Ryan under 6.5 Ks. I feel like this should have been 5.5. If it was 5.5, I'd probably go over. I think he probably ends at 6 is kind of what we're banking. But -120, good value there. Miles Mikolas over 2.5 earned runs, -125. Jake Irvin under 5.5 Ks. So when he faced the Reds earlier this year, when the Reds were K'ing like crazy, he only got 5. So the Reds have actually really improved on their strikeout rates lately. So under 5.5 Ks for -125. So pretty good value there. Ben Lively under 3.5 Ks, which to be honest, I don't think he's gone under in quite a while. So that's why we're getting this -115. But if we look at the Padres lineup, I mean, they just don't strike out a ton. So I actually like that at -115. Imanaga under 5.5 hits at -149. So a little juiced. Would have to pair that up with something. And then James Paxton under 4.5 strikeouts +125. That's me banking on him getting rocked. I just feel like this could be another situation where he gives up 7-8 runs real quick, potentially. So I like the under at +125. And then I kind of added some Nerfies over here if you guys like the Nerfy game. We're already on the Washington Cincinnati at plus money. The Mets and Marlins at -115. I think I put plus on here. I'm pretty sure that's minus. And then obviously we're on the Diamondbacks and the Cubs, and then the Angels and Oakland -115, Houston, Seattle -130. So if you're interested in doing Nerfies, you can kind of pick and choose as you please. Like I said, I think this is -150. Pretty sure it's not plus. All right, so that's all I've got for today. But like I said, first 2 days after the All-Star break, we're doing great. We're up close to 7 units. So let's hope today's a big one. Went maybe a little heavy on the card today, but there were just there are a lot of things I liked. But again, it's Sunday. Wild things can happen. So good luck out there. And if you haven't yet, make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will catch you on the next video.